the playwrights, and he was the first one to work on this project. Jeff, what drew you to working on the life of Father Joe Devlin?
One, that I was acquainted with him personally through the confessional and communion in Our Lady of Peace. Part of it is that Father Ray had approached Cal about writing the play.
Cal is the resident playwright and the founder of Quo Vadis Theater Company.
That's correct. And during our fundraiser in 2007, the tour with Quo Vadis, Father Ray approached Cal during our process. And me and Gary sort of took up the mantle and we hashed out an outline. And the original idea that Cal thought was to put it as a stage reading, using as reader's theaters, reading letters and testimonies of the people who knew him and Joe's own letters himself. And I started around with that. I went to see Dr. Engelman. Dr. Larry Engelman was a writer who worked at San Jose State University as a professor. And he did work about the Vietnam War. And Father Joe was a great resource for that. So he took that material that Father Joe gave him and put it in a narrative, which wound up on the web. And I took some of that narrative and I worked it into the script.
You did a great job, Jeff, and honestly, I think everybody here is grateful for the way that you took that on, initiated it, worked through with other writers, and now are you in the show itself?
I'm going to understudy you right now for Dr. Don.
All right, that's great. Well, I want to congratulate you, and again, what a great job, and thank you so much for coming to the Art Beat. Hi there, Estelle back for the Art Beat, and this time we're going to speak with Dennis Marks, who's usually our host, Father Joe Devlin's brother, Father Ray, who gathered funds and did all kinds of support, without which Father Joe's efforts in Vietnam would have been fruitless. So, Dennis, what drew you to play Father Ray?
Well, I got kind of roped into playing Father Ray because Matt Matthews was playing Father Joe, and we have somewhat of a similar look, and once we kind of make each other up and all that. And of course, I'm a board member of Quo Vadis and willing to help out. So last year, I came out of retirement for acting when we did a Pontius Pilate, and I figured, well, I might as well help out and act in the play and be a part of it in that regard. I'm a little worried about our tech aspects here because usually I take care of that kind of thing, but we'll see how it goes. Maria, the director, has been really hard on me, giving me a really hard time about my acting. And so,
now, Dennis, I've heard that you complain a lot about no matter who the director is in a production, and I don't want to ask you if that's true, but I just want to interject that remark there. But I actually have another question for you. How does it feel to play Father Ray and to be interacting with Father Joe's character on stage, and do you feel that's affected you at all?
It's affected me in the fact that I'm worried that he's a real person, he's still alive, and I hope that I do him justice, really. And Father Joe and Father Ray, especially Father Joe, it's interesting. Father Ray is an apologist, a champion of his brother. He wrote the book about him that the play is based on, and even to this day, if you ask him about anything that Father Ray did in Vietnam to help his brother, he just defers it right back to his brother. So it's really self-sacrificing in a way. If you read the book, you hardly see Father Ray in the book at all, but he was there twice a year, raising money all the time. We talked to Father Ray. He told me about a good bit we're doing where he's hid the money in his sock, had the nuns sew the money in his sock, so we do a little bit on that. So playing somebody that's actually still alive, I hope we can do him justice, really.
I think that your intentions are good, and it'll be great to see you on stage again. And we want to encourage you to go down and see Cha Joe. Thank you. Hi, time, is that right?
7 years, yes. 7 years, I believe, yeah.
Great. And what drew you to become a playwright for this particular production?
I read Father Ray Devlin's book, Cha, and Jeff Davis did as well. and we both started writing scenes and outlines and stuff for a play version of it independently. And then once we got the idea that we could collaborate, we divvied up the scenes and started writing in earnest together. And around the middle to the end of last year, I had to sort of back off because of personal things, and Jeff and Dennis and Marie carried on, and now we have a full play, and I'm in it. I have a cameo part in Act 2.
What do you play?
I play Father John Clark, I believe his name is, a Jesuit provincial that comes to Thailand to see the work that Father Joe has been doing.
Well, that's great. Gary, what do you think the audience will take away most from this production, Cha Joe?
Originally, I had the idea that we would write a play about a real hero, but not a hero in the conventional sense, like a John Wayne, action type hero, but an ordinary man who does extraordinary things for a lot of people, and that's pretty much sums up Father Joe's life.
Well, that's great. Gary, I wish you the best, and I don't want to say break a leg, but have a wonderful time on stage, and want to thank you for coming onto the Art Beat.
Thank you.
Pretty close to 8 months, something like that. It's been in rehearsal now for 4 weeks, so, and we probably did go through several iterations of trying to put together dialogue and sequencing, and oh my gosh, and we're still workshopping it even at this point to try and get the best possible product that we can.
Well, it's a large story. I mean, and it really covers quite a bit, so it would make sense that there's been so much workshopping, and it's amazing that it's been really kind of in formation since 2008. So what drew you to this project?
When we got the script originally started more like a reiteration of the book, and it really was not ready to go to production. It was a great story, but it didn't have the characterization. Again, it didn't have the dialogue. So I think what drew me to it was that I was, of course, alive during the Vietnam War, and I felt like there was some karma that was owed somewhere because I didn't really understand how difficult the American position was in Vietnam and what it created for the people that were there, the hardship that it created for them. So I really got a sense of Father Joe and what he saw in terms of a real kind of need of the and how difficult their life was. So I think that drew me. And then, of course, the fun and creativity of seeing your vision come to life, and then adding all the other problematic things that we've had, like the levels of actors. We've got really accomplished actors and neophytes, so we have a lot of different levels of actors being involved, and it's like, how do you mesh all that to make it seem like it's got some element of being real?
Yeah, it seems like you have people from a wide, variety of backgrounds, which is interesting, I think, ultimately, but, the question of how to integrate them in a production. So what is it that you think the audience will respond to, and what would you like them to get out of this production?
Of course, we hope that they get a sense of Father Joe's heroics, but I think more importantly, we hope that they get a sense of how difficult the struggle of the South Vietnamese was to survive, and be extremely proud and hold them up as an example of the fact that even with all these hardships, they came to the United States and they've become contributing citizens on so many levels. So we have a huge community of Vietnamese here in this area, and I myself couldn't be prouder to have the opportunity to say thank you to them and to let them know how they have inspired me to kind of get to a higher level of perfection in my art.
Yeah, I think a lot of people from Quo Vadis are excited about the possibility of a closer link with the Vietnamese theater community and Catholic community. So you have a number of Vietnamese actors and other actors in this production?
Not as many as we would like to have had, because I think they came to the experience not really understanding what it was going to be like. But the ones that have stayed have a tremendous commitment not only to the concept of a play, but to the idea of trying to put the best product that we can on stage.
Now, this production is in both English and in Vietnamese in parts. Is that correct?
It's mostly in English, but there have been points where, to try and make the actors feel more comfortable, we've kind of interspersed it with some Vietnamese. We hope that people will respond to that as a comment.
And one of the things about this play is that there's a large chorus that kind of acts out and comments on, from the everyman's perspective, the Vietnamese people throughout the play. Is that right?
That's right. So we have the kind of the Greek chorus concept, and we're kind of using the Shakespearean no blackouts, one scene melding into another concept. And we have certain characters playing 3 or 4 or 5 different roles. So audiences are really going to have to suspend their conventions when they come to this particular production, and they need to be open to all of the things that we're going to present to them in the story, rather than kind of pigeoning characters to be certain with certain conventions. Because I think Father Joe and his brother Ray, played by Matt and Dennis, who you'll hopefully meet soon. Yes. The two of them are one of the few characters who are only those characters. Everyone else puts on different hats, so to speak. So
Right.
we've taken these kind of neophyte actors and even the professionals, and we've said we're going to challenge you to kind of tell the story.
Right. And so it really becomes kind of an ensemble piece where people are really serving the function of the story itself and take on the different hats to do that.
Yeah, we hope the audience understands, so that when they see someone on stage and that person turns around and comes back as a different character, they won't go, huh? What just happened?
Well, it sounds like you're delineating them some with bits of costume pieces and things like that. So it sounds like it should probably, I think, work pretty well.
Hopefully, we're excited.
And you have some Vietnamese music, possibly from the period, to